Right, Danny, where are we?
Okay, so currently we're just cruising slowly, heading towards what is called the Bitch and Pups. It's about 20 kilometres below Tullybuck, where we stayed last night. Bitch and Pups is a renownedly dangerous and narrow section of rock reefs and snags. At below 1 metre, it is almost impassable, and currently the river at Swan Hill is sitting at 1.19, so just below 1.2. So we should have about 300 millimetres to play with, but it's certainly going to keep us on our game and is a harder part of the river that's going to test us. Made it through the Bitch and Pups with Guy's navigation and book reading. Hit the bottom a couple of times, but it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was. But with everything with the Murray, subject to a depth, it changes. It will never be the same for anyone's travel. It's unbelievable. I don't think you count the amount of pumps in the river. The amount of water that gets pulled out of the Murray River is absolutely mind-boggling. Coming past the Murrumbidgee River, where it joins the Murray River, it's incredible. Every time we find a river that joins the Murray just appears to get dirtier and dirtier. You can see the colour difference of every river as it joins the Murray. Coming into Robinvale, we've decided to take some luxuries and stay at the caravan park and have our first shower in I don't know how long. Robinvale, what an interesting place. Never been somewhere so multicultural. Absolute pleasure. Going through the locks. The first one was interesting because you don't know what to expect. After you've gone through a few, you work out how it all works, and it works fairly easily. All the lock guys couldn't have been more helpful. As you go through the locks, you can ask them, what's further down? What do we need to look out for? Where are the snags? And in general, most of them know. So the experience of going through the locks and the help that they gave was fantastic. As you come down the river, you'll find all interesting different sorts of things. Buildings, houses, boats, paddle boats, all sorts of things. Here we've come across a log shearing shed. Book doesn't tell me exactly when it was built, but it's old. It was a bit of a climb to get up to it, but well worth seeing. And where it's located in the river, there's actually some big rocky outcrops. So again, your Murray's River chart books, keep an eye on them.
Right, here at sunset, having a few beers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, Danny, here's cheers at 1,000 kilometres.
To the
cheers.
ocean. To the ocean.
To the ocean.
So that's 1,218 done.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Cheers.
Now, to address bugs on the river, because that's a really good thing to know, what we found was that the bugs weren't too bad during the day at all, really. It was more so sitting around camp of a night time. Whether it be on sand or grass, that didn't find a big difference in that. But what we did find, we went to bed basically as it got dark, because that's when the bugs came out, and then got up in the morning. If it was a hot day, we tend to get a lot more bugs than if it was a cool day. But as long as you've got a can of Bushman's or Aerogard, you should be pretty good. There are a number of cuttings along the river that will save a little bit of distance and a little bit of time. The depths of these cuttings vary subject to the height of the Murray at the time. Some of them are worthwhile doing, some of them you won't get through. But have a look, you never know. There's a lot to see on the river. There's a lot of attractions, there's wineries, there's pubs, there's museums, all sorts of things. But the timing of when these are open is a hard thing to sometimes coordinate. Sometimes you'll find they're closed on a Monday or a Tuesday, or they're not open at the time you've turned up. It's a hard thing to try and work this out, but if you're a little bit aware of it, it might help you. We've been to Mildura a number of times in the past, so we didn't stop for the amount of time that you could stop here. Mildura is a city. It will be the biggest town you will pass as you travel the Murray River. Mildura is steeped in history. There is galleries, hotels, shopping, everything is here. The Chaffey brothers opened up this area to irrigation, and the town has details everywhere about what they've done to bring the town to what it is today. Lock times are from 8 a.m. till 12. They have an hour off for lunch and they reopen from 1 to 4:30. In the morning shift, they stop taking passage at 11:30 to give them half an hour to get ready for lunch. Be aware of your lock times, call ahead to your lockmasters and they'll be very helpful to pass you through. At Chaffey's Landing, you can pull up and there are barbecues, a table and chairs just beside the river. There's a set of stairs that takes you to the top of the cliff where the Mildura Winery is. It's a fair climb up these stairs and the view is fantastic. The only disappointment is they don't do cellar door at that winery. junction of the Darling and the Murray Rivers is at the town of Wentworth. We arrived here fairly late in the afternoon, but we still managed to find a pub for a counter meal. We travelled up the Darling and camped on its banks. We found the banks here seemed to be more sheep country, where there was a lot of prickles, thistles and saltbush. Not as nice as camping on the Murray, but it was still successful for the night. We did a total of 10 kilometres up the Darling River, then back to the town of Wentworth for a quick breakfast, top up of groceries and fuel. If topping up water from Wentworth, be aware that the town taps are raw water. I would presume that means untreated. We got our water from the Tourist Information Centre. As mentioned earlier, sometimes your timing for seeing attractions or events of a town can be missed, and in this case in Wentworth, I missed the opportunity to see the Wentworth Jail. The distance between Wentworth and Renmark is about 261 kilometres. This will be the longest stretch of a river that you will do without supplies, so be sure to have your fuel, food and water well catered for.